Hello everyone, I'm Peak. Today, we'll explore the newly reshaped world. Jasin, Justia, and Dante face unprecedented challenges. Can they successfully create a world without a fixed script? Let's find out together. Otome Game Rebellion: The World is Too Real. Chapter 13. Reshaping a New World.
Jasin, Justia, and Dante emerged from the system core to find a world reborn. The sky was bluer than ever before, the flora more vibrant, and the air seemed to be filled with the essence of hope and possibility. This world truly belongs to itself now, Jasin said softly, his face beaming with joy. Justia took a deep breath, feeling the changes around her. Dante looked around. We've successfully freed ourselves from the control of higher dimensional beings, but now the real challenge begins. Jasin nodded in agreement. You're right. We need to redefine how this world operates. There should no longer be a fixed script. Everyone should have the chance to determine their own destiny. The three strolled through this newborn world, carefully observing the changes around them. They saw people in the distance trying to adapt to this new environment, most of them confused by the sudden changes. It seems our work isn't done yet, Justia said. We need to help this world and its inhabitants adapt to these massive changes. Dante added, we must be careful not to intervene too much out of good intentions, or we might inadvertently create new constraints. Jasin pondered for a moment and then said, You're both right. Our goal is to create a world without a script, where everyone can freely choose their own destiny. He turned towards the distance, his gaze becoming determined. Let's begin. We have a whole new world to shape. The three smiled at each other and clasped hands. They knew countless challenges lay ahead of them. But at this moment, they had created a new world full of infinite possibilities. Jasin closed his eyes and began to use his abilities as the world's administrator. His fingers moved slightly, as if manipulating invisible threads. In his consciousness, the structure of the entire world appeared before him, with countless script lines crisscrossing. I can see them, Jasin said softly. These remaining script lines are still influencing this world. We need to cut them off completely. Jasin's fingers moved deftly, like a skilled puppeteer manipulating complex marionettes. With his movements, those script lines began to break one by one. With each line that broke, the world seemed to tremble slightly. Justia and Dante stood beside Jasin, nervously watching this scene. They could feel that the world was undergoing enormous changes, but they couldn't fully understand what kind of changes they were. How can we ensure this world doesn't fall into chaos? Justia asked, her tone tinged with worry. Dante thought for a moment, then said, Maybe we don't need to ensure anything. True freedom means accepting uncertainty, accepting the possibility of chaos. Our task is to create possibilities, not control outcomes. Jasin opened his eyes and nodded in agreement. That's right. Our role is more like guides, not rulers. As the last script line was cut, the entire world seemed to exhale a long breath. The scenery around them became more vivid, the colors richer, and even the air seemed to carry more of the essence of life. Jasin took a deep breath, feeling the changes in the world. Now, this world truly belongs to itself. Everyone has the opportunity to write their own story, to create their own destiny. Jasin's gaze was suddenly drawn to a figure in the distance. He recognized it as Remy, the adventurer character from the original Otome game. However, Remy's expression and behavior seemed somewhat different. Let's go over there and take a look, Jasin said, pointing towards Remy, his tone carrying a hint of interest. As they approached, Justia suddenly exclaimed softly, Wait, that person looks so familiar. Dante nodded in agreement. Yeah, Jasin once made a puppet that looked a lot like him. Hearing this, a complex expression flashed across Jasin's face. He knew that the Remy before them was one of the capturable characters in the original game, but his two companions didn't know this. You're right, I did make a similar puppet, Jasin said calmly. They approached Remy and found the adventurer arranging his backpack, but his movements seemed hesitant and uncertain. Hello, looks like you're preparing to set off, Jasin greeted him. Remy looked up, his eyes filled with a hint of confusion. Yes. No, maybe. I'm not sure. He paused. It's strange, I've always thought I loved adventure, but lately I've been wondering, is this really the life I want? Just then, a loud explosion sounded from not far away. The three turned alertly to see a man with a face full of soot walking out of a smoking workshop. Who's that? Justia asked curiously. Dante narrowed his eyes to look carefully. One of the 4 puppets Jasin made before was in his image. Jasin nodded in confirmation. That's right, that's Chapman, eh? Well, very creative inventor. He carefully chose his words, avoiding revealing too much information about the game's settings. Chapman noticed their gaze and waved for them to come over. As they approached, they found the workshop full of strange devices and blueprints. Hello? Chapman said excitedly. I'm researching a brand new energy device. Although there was a small accident just now, I feel I'm getting closer and closer to success. His eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. For some reason, I suddenly have a lot of new ideas. It feels like the whole world is full of possibilities. Hearing this, a relaxed expression appeared on Jasin's face. It seems some people have already started to adapt to the new world. After leaving Chapman's workshop, Jasin turned to his 2 companions. This world is slowly adapting to the new rules, Justia said happily. Indeed, it seems like everyone suddenly has their own ideas. Dante nodded. It's as if they've suddenly gained real life. Jasin listened to their conversation, glad that he had successfully reshaped this world. Those characters who were once fixed in predetermined scripts now all had lives of their own. However, just then, Jasin's expression suddenly became grave. His gaze turned to the distance, as if he had seen something unusual. What's wrong? Justia asked alertly. Jasin slowly spoke. I sense some strange fluctuations. It seems that some force is lingering at the edge of the world, trying to find a breakthrough. Dante frowned. You mean, the higher dimensional beings might not have completely given up? Jasin nodded. That's right. Although we've successfully reshaped this world, the threat from higher dimensional beings may never completely disappear. We must remain vigilant, Justia said. Perhaps this is why you must stay to protect this world. Jasin nodded in agreement. As the administrator of this world, I must always be alert to potential threats to ensure the safety of this world. He turned to Justia and Dante, his eyes flashing with complex emotions. But you now have true freedom. You can choose to stay and continue this adventure. You can choose to live an ordinary life. You can even choose to travel to other worlds to explore. It all depends on you. Justia and Dante fell into deep thought. This choice was both exciting and unsettling. But you don't have to rush to make a decision, you can think about it slowly. Jasin said gently. Just then, a strange light suddenly flashed across the distant sky, disappearing in an instant. The 3 looked alertly in that direction. That was... Dante exclaimed. Jasin's expression became grave. It seems our adventure might not be over yet. Something appears to be seeking new ways to intervene in this world, Justia said firmly. Then we can't let our guard down. Dante nodded in agreement. Yeah, looks like we still have a lot of work to do. Jasin looked at his 2 companions, a smile of gratitude appearing on his face. Ready to face new challenges? Whatever awaits us ahead, I believe there's nothing we can't overcome as long as we're together. Justia and Dante smiled at each other, their eyes flashing with determination. They knew this wasn't the end, but the beginning of a brand new adventure. Behind them, the sun slowly rose, illuminating this new world full of hope and challenges. Everyone's story would continue to be written here, and the new chapter belonging to Jasin, Justia, and Dante was also slowly unfolding. We've finally reached the conclusion of this amazing story. Jasin, Justia, and Dante have successfully reshaped the world, but their adventure seems to have only just begun. This new world is full of infinite possibilities, but also hidden dangers. Throughout this series, we've witnessed the growth of the characters, the deepening of their bonds, and their reflections on freedom and destiny. Their story tells us that even in a seemingly pre-written script, we have the power to change and create our own path. Now I'd like to hear your thoughts. Do you think Jasin and his friends made the right choices? If it were you, how would you shape this new world? How do you think they will face the challenges that lie ahead? Don't forget to share your opinions or your feelings about this series in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, it means a lot to me. This is Peak, thank you all for being with me on this journey. Let's look forward to the next exciting story. Goodbye.